Good golly gracious, welcome back, everyone, to Tales to Showcase. It's wonderful to see you all again. If this is somehow your first time here, hey, what's up? Good to see you too. Today we're continuing through the series of the New 52 as we finally reach the one you were all waiting for, Batwing. Okay. An anomaly in the New 52 as it directly continues a story from the previous continuity, playing off events from Grant Morrison's Batman Incorporated story. In that story, after Bruce Wayne returned from the dead, just play along, assume that makes sense, instead of simply resuming his role as Batman, he chose to fund the creation of several more Bat people around the world. Batwing, who premiered in Morrison's series only months before the universe was rebooted, was meant to act as the Batman of Africa. Though the character was initially created as part of Morrison's overarching Batman saga, they did not provide the writing for this series. It is instead written by Judd Winnick, a longtime comic writer whose best-known contribution is resurrecting Jason Todd as the Red Hood. The art is done, mostly, by Ben Oliver, a British artist who has art credits from several publishers, including the Big Two, Wildstorm, and some of his first credits in 2000 AD with Judge Dredd. The fourth issue is the only one of these not drawn by Oliver, with art duties instead going to Chris Cross, who's worked on and off for DC Comics since the mid-90s. Quick plot breakdown, the story follows Batwing tracking down the serial killer Massacre. The mystery develops as it turns out the Massacre, while killing indiscriminately, is targeting members of the Kingdom, a now defunct superhero team that once acted as the Justice League of Africa. I'm not going to spoil the exact reason they're being hunted, mostly because I don't know, it's not resolved in the first 6 issues. I might find out someday though when I continue reading this, because I really liked it. Maybe it's because it didn't get resolved, but as much as I enjoyed the mystery behind Massacre's motives, the real draw to me was the exploration of Batwing himself. The man beneath the armor is David Zavimbe, a police officer in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Right off the bat, you can feel that this is a different Batman than we've been accustomed to. Apart from the cool distinction being the first canonically black Batman counterpart, there's a more visceral feel to Batwing's approach. Equipped with a high-tech suit that's also capable of flight, Zavimbe battles against not only Massacre, but also against his own corrupt police force. Until they're all murdered by Massacre. All of them being dead kind of ends that side story. The most interesting part of the story, to me at least, is the flashbacks to David's childhood. A child soldier along with his brother, David was one of the most brutal troops serving a merciless warlord. From these snippets of a torturous childhood, you can get a better sense of how Batwing differs from the traditional guy. Whereas Batman's crusade against crime is based on trying to right a wrong that was done to him, David is almost in a battle for redemption, a quest to redeem himself for all the awful acts he was forced into. It gives the story a personal touch that adds another dimension to the scenes of brutality throughout the book. For David, it's not just senseless acts of violence, it's flashbacks from his past confronting him, challenging his efforts to be a hero when he performed similar acts before. Assisting David is Matu Ba, who was an employee at the organization that took David in after he abandoned the warlord he was serving. He acts as David's Alfred, stitching him up when needed, and constantly being ignored when he has words of caution. He also has a really cool eye patch, so that's something. And of course, being a Batman-esque book, there has to be an appearance of the big guy himself. Taking a less hands-on, more supervisorish role, he only appears in a few issues. Given how prominent he is in the New 52 even outside of books that directly tie into him, I appreciate the restraint here. That said, the ending of the trade I read makes it seem like it's going to be super crossover-y with the rest of the Bat family, so yeah. Maybe it's good. I haven't read it. And for anyone new to the channel, no, I don't hate Batman. He's just in too many of these series and always seems to add so little to the actual story. It's become tiresome. In this, though, at least it makes sense, and helps give David insight into crime fighting. This works because it's in service of the main story, and gives the main character someone to bounce ideas off of. There's also Kia Okuru, another police officer, except she doesn't die. She's barely in the comic, presumably because she's busy running the entire police station by herself. I'd read a one-shot spin-off going through all the crime she has to deal with, all the while Batwing struggling to catch this one guy. The art, once again done by Ben Oliver, is rendered in a more realistic style than most books in the genre. It adds another layer of intensity to the action scenes, making them feel more visceral as opposed to the flashier fight sequences in Cape Comics. The faces are also very expressive, really helping to sell the determination and quiet hauntings that fuel Batwing. The distinct character designs also look fantastic and help define the world around this character. The only downside, and this is totally subjective, occasionally the faces become a little uncanny valley for me. which isn't my favorite thing ever. Still though, I think it all works, and I really like the art style. The fourth issue, the one with art by Chris Cross, deals almost entirely in flashbacks, detailing how David got away from the warlord and what happened to his brother. Drawn in a more graphical style, the faces and poses are allowed to be a bit more exaggerated, which greatly helps sell the emotional feel of the book. It's different from Oliver's and kinda jarring after the 3 issues of the other style, but on its own it definitely holds up. Overall, I thought this was a pleasant surprise. Initially not expecting much from this book, I was surprised at how much I was enjoying myself reading it, and how invested I was in David as a character. If you've never read it, or have always been interested, I think it's a great book. Maybe not the best starting point, since the character's existence hinges on several years of story, but if you look past that, it's a solid intro for the character himself. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, it's greatly appreciated, and subscribe if you don't want to miss the rest of my New 52 thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.